It's Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Converse County Tourism. Douglas and Glen Rock, Wyoming are bustling with action this holiday season. Plan your excursion, including fun activities, beautiful downtowns, and historic treasures. Learn more at conversecountytourism.com. 2 more days of this beautiful fall weather. It's been a good run, no doubt. But now things are beginning to change, as they should, as we hit the middle of the month and as we get into a more mature fall season that certainly is going to be developing. So get out and check out scenes like this in Fort Laramie. The cottonwoods are just beautiful right now, as well as other trees, especially in the towns and cities across the West. Again, look for the comet this evening. A lot of folks saw it last night, and with clear skies this evening, this is an opportunity. If you didn't get a chance last night, really take advantage of tonight. It's not because the comet will go away. It's going to be visible for many evenings, but the comet is still close and skies in many areas will still be clear. We can't guarantee good viewing because clouds are going to be moving in Wednesday and certainly a lot by Thursday and Friday. So expect a nice, pleasant weather through tomorrow. Late tomorrow night into Thursday, along and west of the Divide, in the Pacific Northwest, into the Northern Rockies, west of the Divide, temperatures will be falling. Areas of rain and snow will be developing. As we mentioned yesterday, the storm is going to split. And with the splitting of the storm, the focus of the heaviest precipitation is going to initially be late Wednesday night through Thursday and into Friday along the Continental Divide and west. As the system gets east, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But the biggest impacts will be in the western and northern areas. Lesser impacts through Friday east of the Divide. Then we need to watch the part of the low that gets split off and stays south is going to drift back over some areas on Sunday into Monday, and we've got to watch that. And we need to watch it because I've seen this story before, and a lot of times these cutoff lows, when they get broken off from the main jet stream, can come back over and throw you a few curveballs, a few surprises. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But a lot of folks got out and saw it last night. It really was, if you had a clear view of the sky for your smartphones, cameras, it really was not a hard target at all. We'll show the map again on where you can find it. Some really good shots. Here's a longer exposure shot there, as you can see by the star trails a little bit. We're going to also see, and you can kind of see this if you look really closely, right here. This is called an anti-tail, where it gets a tail that gets pushed forward as the solar winds and the other things begin to affect the comet as it works its way across the solar system. So you see that? It's a thin line right there. That should show up better tonight. A great shot there from Laramie. Cheyenne, a lot of shots from Cheyenne and central Wyoming, Casper last night. Beautiful shots. A lot of the smoke and haze that was around earlier, and they thinned out a little bit, which was good. So just a great shot. We'll have shots like this coming up again tonight and all the way from California. Even in all of the light pollution of California, able to see it come on out. So here's where the comet will be a bit higher than it was yesterday evening, making it a bit of an easier target. Keep in mind that as the days progress, it's going to get further away, but also higher in the sky. So clearing the trees and the buildings and the mountains a little bit easier. So this is from astropix.com. This is a simulation of that anti-tail. That shot we saw from Jan Curtis, that thin line from the anti-tail, it may show up more here in the coming days, especially if you do a long exposure. You may get this little thing right there poking out the end, and you don't see that a lot of times. So a lot of clear skies with high pressure overhead again. Here's the weather out in the Pacific, kind of waiting for its turn to come south and east and into the region, and it will. The high pressure ridge is leaning to the northeast. When you get a leaning high like this, that means the high is about done. It's in a weakening phase. So with that weakening, that's going to allow this low to finally get unstuck in the Gulf of Alaska and head this way. So when you see the jet stream kind of curve like that, you see the high getting folded over, it's on its way out. So this is today. This is by late Thursday. This is by 6 p.m. Thursday. So this is when things really will be changing. Thursday is really the day when things really start to change, especially along and west of that black line I just drew. That's where western Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Utah, Nevada, eastern Washington, and Oregon are going to see rain and snow come on in and much colder temperature readings as high pressure builds up and directs the low to the southeast along with the moist, colder Pacific air. This is what temperatures, the anomaly of temperatures, will look like by 6 p.m. Thursday. So you can see where the push gets. By 6 p.m. Thursday, northern, western Wyoming, back further west, temperatures really start to fall while it's still warm Thursday out on the plains as the low comes on in and pushes warmer air out ahead of it. This is the precipitation forecast through Saturday midnight Saturday, Mountain Time. So there's going to be a concentration of heavier moisture right here. So you're going to get the bighorns and the elk fire. You're going to get the beartooths. You're going to see this heavier moisture here in the Wind Rivers and southwestern areas of Wyoming. And look at Utah. Look at western Colorado. The concentration of the heavier moisture will come into these areas here. This is when the deeper Pacific moisture works together with the jet stream, works together with the upper level low and the colder air at the surface and aloft that generate the heaviest moisture. So this is going to get the fire areas really well in Utah and Wyoming in particular. This will result in snow that looks like this, possibly. Again, use this for guidance display purposes only. As we get closer, this map could change. But what we're showing you here is that possibly out into the plains of northeastern Wyoming, you can see the heavier moisture there in the bighorns, the Wind Rivers, the beartooths here, the north end of Yellowstone Park, and then look at the Uintas here in the Wasatch, then the southwest mountains of Colorado. This is through midnight Saturday. Notice we're just not getting a lot of snow, maybe a few flakes, will come out east of the Continental Divide through Saturday night. Now, after Saturday night is when east of the Divide is going to have its opportunity. And we'll show you that here because it splits. So that trough comes in. If we were to back up here, that trough comes in and this part breaks off and heads along the U.S.-Canadian border. This part drops south into here. So after it splits, where does it go after that as it gets detached from the main jet stream? This is why you see the heavy precipitation in southwest Colorado in the Four Corners area, really hitting those mountainous areas with some heavy fall snows. Really a heads up to hunters. Hunters in Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. The high country of those states is going to get hit pretty hard. I know in Montana as well, but Wyoming, Colorado, and Utah's mountains. If you're hunting or know of a hunter up there or headed up there, you're going to get quite the change from what you've been used to. So this is where it gets a little tricky. Notice by midnight Sunday night. So when we get to, this is Saturday morning, but by midnight Saturday night, the low moves to the northeast. And this is where it can get tricky. Now, it doesn't look terribly strong, but there will be good moisture with this system. And as it lifts northeast, a lot of times you can take your eye off the ball, and these systems can get a little, let's say there's a little bit of a new re-intensification as it jumps to the divide. So this is something we need to watch for eastern Colorado, northwest Kansas, parts of southwest Nebraska, maybe even southeastern Wyoming, which isn't going to get much moisture from the initial push. But with it coming out late Saturday night and Sunday, as you can see right here, if I zoom in on it, that upper level low comes right across the area. So there's going to be this initial push Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday, kind of a gap during the day Saturday, then Saturday night, Sunday into Monday as this upper low kicks out. There's going to be some weather with this, and see, this is the potential. This is the 48-hour period of noon Saturday through noon Monday. So this is new. Notice there's nothing up here as that low moves away, but this secondary low comes on out. So we have to watch this. I'm going to put a big question mark here because this is a variable that could change in its track and its precipitation. But what the point here is, you can't let your guard down in this area because this could indeed develop after the initial wave comes on through. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. In the meantime, the changes are on the way. Look for the Comet tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.